think we all will. All right, let's get to the commitment that the Longhorns had from the 2025 commit of Caleb Chester. I got a chance to watch this young man on film. He's from Houston, actually Missouri City. And he actually from Fort Bend Marshall, which has been a little bit of a factory actually as of late. From like 2015 to 2024, they produced 18 prospects who signed Power Five scholarships. So this is a bit of a factor. One of those pipelines that Texas is trying to engineer with certain powerhouse programs in the state of Texas. This is one of them in terms of producing high-level college football talent. Caleb Chester, so he's about 6'1", 170, but he's long and rangy, cornerback in that 2025 class. Some Longhorn fans feel a little certain kind of way about him because I don't know if he's gotten a blue chip status yet in all the rankings. But I tell you right now, kind of like Trey Owens. I remember when Trey Owens was like this too, and Longhorn fans were questioning, his blue chip status because I don't think he had received his, that type of rating across all the different platforms. But he later on ended up being the offensive player of the year in Houston. So it looked like Sark kind of called his shot. And Sark always says he's not just recruiting stars, he's recruiting skill sets and different players and football character. And I think Caleb Chester might fit in that category too. I'll just tell you though, he is a technician. I love his game. I got a chance to watch him before this commitment yesterday because I was working with the good folks over at On Texas Football. Shout out to them, ontexasfootball.com. And so I watched some film on him. Great range as a young DB. You can tell now the coaches are starting to recruit what they cannot coach. They can't coach coverage. And I've been saying this for years, you can't coach coverage. Coverage comes naturally. Guys are just there are certain players who do have the skill set to play sticky coverage, and there are certain players who not. Doesn't mean you're not a good football player. Texas got good football players in their secondary, at least they had, but they just weren't coverage specialists. They're recruiting those types of guys now, and that's what Caleb Chester is. And he's a guy that can be a press coverage specialist. Sark is on the record saying he wants to play more press coverage, wants to play more man. The reason you have to do it is because you have so much RPO game now, which is essentially quick game. You want to disrupt that early tag on that RPO, that run pass option. The way to do it is you want to just eliminate the quick game, force the quarterback to hold on to the ball and have to abandon the tag altogether. That's what, or at least narrow down where that tag is going to be. It's only going to go to the one receiver that's not being jammed at the line of scrimmage. The one probably in the slot, you can double him, and there are things you can do to take that away. You're seeing more of that. Sark knows that. Sark has an RPO-based passing game himself, so he wants more bump and run corners to take that away. So we saw it even in the last 3 games of the season, right, against Tech, against Oklahoma State, and against Washington. Didn't always work out well for Texas, but they played more bump and run coverage on the outside and on the boundary side. That's what they want to do. Now, football and life are constant struggles deciding between what we want to be and what we need to be to survive. But what they want to be is a team that can play some more press coverage to take away some of the easy, quick games, some of the easy inside breaking routes from those glances, slants, the RPO game pretty much. And this young man can help you do it. My point is they're recruiting more of those guys. They had a lot of those guys they recruited in the 2024 class. Remember, they got 5 defensive backs in that class. And I think they're doing the same thing for this 2025 class coming up. So bump and run coverage, I think, and coverage specialists, that is a priority for him in recruiting. And guys who just have natural foot speed. He's got adequate foot speed. What I love about this game is, he's got fluid hips, quick feet. He's got all the raw tools to play corner. Love that he's got long wingspan arms, but he's a student of the game. You can tell that because when he plays press, he has different methods, different techniques, inch technique, one-hand jab, press technique, shadow technique. He's, 2-hand jab. He's using a lot of different methods at the line of scrimmage. Shows that the young man is studying the game, and also his angles to the football makes him seem faster than he probably is. His aiming point. He astutely and acutely can diagnose angles to the football and angles to the receiver. When you're talking about press, when you're talking about being off, so that he can cut off the path of the receiver. And a lot of DBs don't understand that you can just cut off a path to a receiver, and that way you can deter them and force them into what they like to call in phase, where you have control of the wide receiver and you can play the ball. He does that really well, cutting off the receivers, cutting off their pathway, and also being able to meet the receiver at the point, at the catch point. And when he's playing off coverage, and that keeps basically DBs from committing pass interference. Because they diagnose the right angle to the football, then you can diagnose exactly the timing, and the aiming point, and get there right when the ball gets there, instead of getting there a little bit too early because you took the wrong angle to the ball carrier, or the wrong angle, excuse me, to the receiver, or you took the wrong angle to the football. He doesn't do that very often. Great at diagnosing angles. I love that about his game. So I think he's a student of the game. I love that. I think he's a technician when it comes to playing press coverage. He's got a really great range as a cornerback, and his coach said they play a similar system, not as sophisticated, but a similar system as Texas. So they've been able to see him in the same roles that he would be playing in Texas, and some of the same coverage. So there you go with Caleb Chester. He's the latest commitment for the Longhorns in that 2025 class. I believe that makes 11, if I'm not mistaken, commitment. So they're just getting started. It's still early. And they're going after some, if you don't think he's a big fish, a big enough fish, they're going after some big time recruits in this class. A lot of super blue chips, if you will, across the country. It seems like they're trying to get what they think are the best players in the state, and then handpick the best players from certain positions across the country nationally, in this recruiting class. All right, we come back.